ISO 27001 Annex A 7.8 equipment, sighting, sitting and protection. Let's have a little look at what the definition is and then I'll show you how we can go about meeting that. So the definition is really straightforward. Equipment should be sighted securely and protected. So you're not getting a lot of guidance in terms of the control, right? So how are we going to go about implementing this? If we are fully remote, it doesn't apply to us. If we're only reliant on cloud, it doesn't apply to us. We're managing that through risk management and the other techniques that I provided previously in the other tutorial on how you handle controls that don't apply to us. This is looking at things like data processing facilities within premises that you own and you control and that are within your gift. Here we're looking at things like networking, cabling, implementation of wireless routers. We're looking at servers and server rooms and server racks, and potentially, endpoint user devices if you're still in the world where you're providing an endpoint physical desktop computer to individuals. The first point would be is get the help of a professional. Any professional that is involved in the installation of technical equipment will be trained and experienced in it. They will follow the manufacturer's guidelines, they will follow the manufacturer's installation guidelines, and they will make sure that this fully complies. If you are doing this yourself, you're going to follow the manufacturer's guidelines, you're going to follow the best practice and the YouTube guides for whatever the device is that you've got, and then you're going to apply some common sense to that. I'm going to give you some general guidance of things that you can consider, and then I'm going to talk you through what an audit is going to look for. Where we put stuff is important because it protects it from damage and the wrong people accessing it. We are considering examples here that may be common sense, but many, not always. So here are some common examples. Let's think about servers. If you have a server, you want to make sure that it is in a dedicated server room, a secure area. We've just done 2 controls on secure areas with appropriate environmental controls and physical security controls in place. It's not a great idea to have a server you rely on placed on a desk or next to you and used to rest your coffee on, etc. Or to have a server under an air conditioning unit that slowly drips water on it, or in your friend's garage, right? These servers have to be sighted and they have to have the appropriate protections in. And when we looked at secure areas, we've already covered that. For networks, we want to have network access points. Clearly, people do, and we don't want them in public areas, or if they're in public areas, we want a network security design that has a segregated network where access into that network point is only to public internet or publicly accessible servers. We do not want a direct route through these network points into our organization. The same applies for wireless networks. If we've got a wireless network, we don't want the wireless access points sat on desks. We want them secured wherever it is that the manufacturer guidance tells us to do it, but they're not just lying around on the floor or lying around on the desk so that somebody can gain physical access to it. And if we do have network access to it, we've got segregation in the network that separates out the public and that private network. So there are considerations that we've got on servers, considerations on networks. Think about environmental factors. We've seen the situation where, depending on where you work, sometimes it may be that you have more of an industrial environment. It could be the case, for example, that keyboard membranes, dust protection may be important to you if you're within a warehouse environment. Think about the ancillary physical controls that can go around that and the physical sighting of that equipment and how you can protect that. Again, we don't want servers that can be hit by forklift trucks. We don't want servers that are out and desktops that are out with dust in the environment getting into that device, or in an environment that runs hot or runs cold that can impact or affect those devices. So the number 1 tip and guidance here is to get the help and support of a professional to site whatever the equipment is that you've got and to install it appropriately and ensure that it's maintained, and or to work with the manufacturer's guidelines and installation instructions to ensure that you are fully meeting them. What are the kind of things that an audit is going to do? The opposite of what I've just said, right? So they will walk around. If they see a network point, they may try and plug into it. If they see a wireless network, they may try and connect onto it. If they see a wireless access point lying on a desk, they may potentially either unplug it, try and plug into it, see how far they can get with it. If they see cables hanging down, they will question it, you know, especially if you can reach up and touch them. If you can see routers and bridges and all those old-fashioned technologies, again, they will be seeing whether or not they can physically gain access to it and then challenging you upon it. So the siting and protection of physical equipment forms part of physical security, a requirement if you have physical data processing facilities. If not, you're managing it through risk management. For me, if I was a fully remote organization, I would outscope this, and I would be handling the physical siting and protection of devices for my remote workers through compensating controls, right? Because they're going to be mobile devices. They're not going to be things that are designed to be plugged in and to be sited. So use your common sense. Be wary of what an audit is going to look for, and you're going to be absolutely golden. My name is Stuart Barker. I am the ISO 27001 Ninja, and until the next tutorial, peace out.